platform. I'm Keystone and this is Redbone. We launched this platform as a way of speaking to the people from a point of view that we feel may have been overlooked or just not heard. It seems to be a lot of interest in the city of Pakoima, a few miles north of Los Angeles. Our story is too complex for just one point of view. We decided to give you a full insight into our hometown, Pakoima, California. We're going to get into our history, street culture, politics, sports legends, and music legends. From the sometimes bitter, sometimes sweet relationships between the blacks and the Pakoima Latinos, to the contentious interactions with the Foothill Division Police Department. Pakoima has a unique voice that distinguishes itself from the greater Los Angeles area. We've heard from everyone else. Now it's time for the Pakoima.
If you were part of the social, if you were part of the social construction of America, the social, what made America America, if you were in that inner circle, then it was great for you. Why? Because everybody who was considered normal, if you were a male, you were the average white male. If you were a female, you were the average white female. You grew up. You were the stay-at-home mom, soccer mom. The man go out, bring home the meat, you cook it up. That was the social norm of that time, and they felt that it was great. When you watch Happy Days and shit like that on TV, that was when America was great. You didn't see too many blacks in Happy Days. Why? That wasn't the normal function.
That's right. Keep going.
So now, when you hit a dude like Barack Obama becomes president, that is, what the hell, what is this? But you gotta say, man, more white people voted for Barack Obama than blacks.
No shit.
More white people voted for Barack Obama than blacks.
I didn't know that.
Blacks are only 13% of this country's population. You can't win a presidency with 13%. So therefore, you had to get a big portion of white people. But what white people saw in Barack Obama, they say, okay, he was raised by white grandparents and a white mom. So he grew up with values of a white person. But Barack Obama had, instead of staying on the side of the socially normal average white person, he said same-sex marriage is cool, which gave the LGBTQ man.
Whoop, let's go. He said we could do it.
Let's go. So now you got the white Christians who was like, and then you got the racists who looked at him and said, see that black dude? He's not like us. He's not socially normal like us. You see what happened? You see, we let him in, and look what he brought with him. And look, I could get, man. There's a movie, one of the first movies ever. It's a silent film called Birth of a Nation. It's a silent film. It's a silent film, not the
Tell them where to go.
Not the new one with Nat Turner. It's the old one. It's in black and white. Birth of a Nation.
Okay, I seen a glimpse of that. They don't do no talking.
This movie has white people in blackface, and they're sitting in the House of Representatives, and it's like it's warning white people, if we let these blacks start coming into our government, they're gonna be sitting back on the tables with their feet up. They throwing chicken bones and shit all around the room, and they in there acting very buffoonish. This is what white people saw from way back then. If we let these blacks get a hold of America, this is what they're gonna do with it. They're gonna be in there dancing and laughing with their feet kicked up, and they throwing chicken bones and shit all over the room. And they got a scene where a black man rapes a white woman. And who comes to her rescue? The Ku Klux Klan.
Anti-Negro film was called The Birth of a Nation, and it was a honey. And the second worst thing about it was that technically in 1918 it was the best movie that had ever been made. A cat named D.W. Griffith produced it, and he knew how. See? Birth of a Nation pretended to tell the story of the Civil War and what happened afterwards when the slaves were freed. White women couldn't walk on their own sidewalk, if you believe the picture. In the South, Negroes got the right to vote, and the movie showed black vote collectors refusing to accept white votes, and black people sneaking in extra votes. And if these black bad guys don't look very bad to you, it's probably because they were white actors wearing burnt cork. Negro legislators took over in the South, and in the film they were made to look like apes. This was the movie version of how it looked in the Southern state legislature. They drank whiskey, they ate chicken with their hands in the State House, and they put their feet up on the table with the shoes off. And of course, they passed all sorts of crazy laws according to the film, like anybody could marry anybody they wanted to. It was obvious to anyone who saw this picture that Negroes weren't fit to govern themselves or anyone else because they really weren't people. This film is 50 years old, and it may look silly and out of date now, but it didn't look silly when it was made and seen. Several million Americans who saw it were propagandized to believe that this is the way things would be if they weren't careful. So they've been pretty careful. Colonel Cameron, a former officer in the Confederate Army, is all upset over the way Northerners and the freed slaves are changing his South, taking a mint julep right out of his mouth. So he takes a walk one day while he's worrying about it, and he sees two white kids playing, and then four black kids come along. Being hardly human and naturally afraid of ghosts, the black kids run. Colonel Cameron sees the whole scene, gets his great idea, and with this, that great white all-American organization, the KKK, was born. The cavalry and the bedsheet has come to the rescue. The South is saved. In this picture, the Ku Klux Klan was the good boy who saved the South. The first really vicious anti-Negro film was called The Birth of a Nation.
All that's one of the first movies. And they say that movie has had a big influence on the people of that time, and could be and was a big help in the Ku Klux Klan's rise during that time, like the 1920s, 30s, stuff like that. So, but fast forward to today, we had a black president. He started letting. All of a sudden, you got drag queens reading the kids in elementary school. All of a sudden, you got Kamala Harris. She got Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion twerking at the damn. She supposed to be telling the people what she gonna do, but she got.
I know my ladies in the crowd love they body. Real hot girl. And if if you want to keep loving your body, you know who to vote for. Hey. 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 Yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wavy. Yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wavy. Now I know my ladies.
These girls twerking and shit at her election speech.
Why would they do that anyway? What the
Message?
fuck?
What message is being sent to white America? They already got this picture. I'm telling you, you can watch it. They already got this picture of what it's like if we let blacks come get to a certain level here. They're gonna
That's
be
all it's
right
about.
there
That's
with you.
basically what it's about right now. Real talk. That's just
That's
what it's
not
about.
their. That's not their. That's not the value. That's not white Christian values. That is what Charlie Kirk was telling these young white kids at all these schools, and he was telling them that that's not our white Christian values.